Welcome to the Brew Coffee Tavern, where every cup tells a story, and every story starts with a sip. Join us on a journey of adventure, camaraderie, and of course, the finest brews, served hot and steeped in mystery. From dragons to ancient legends, we're brewing up more than just coffee. Today's tale begins when a fiery little dragon crosses paths with Java, as they both chase down the clues found on the map Java found. But before we dive into today's adventure, a quick word from our sponsor.
Whether you're charging into a big day or conquering the morning fog, we've got the perfect potion in a cup. From our signature roasts to seasonal blends like dreams of Yuletide quests, every sip awakens your inner warrior.
Even dragons need coffee to start their day.
Every hero needs fuel for the journey ahead. At Brew Coffee, we serve bold brews crafted for champions like you. Join the quest. Visit Brew Coffee online or bring the Tavern vibe home with our legendary blends. Brew Coffee. Fuel your story.
Now, grab your mug, settle in, and get ready for the next chapter in our brewing saga. Episode 2, A Spicy Encounter. The forest hummed with the sound of rustling leaves and distant bird calls as Java padded through the underbrush. His sleek black scales shimmered faintly in the dappled sunlight. The map he'd found was tucked safely into a small satchel slung across his side, its corners sticking out like an impatient traveler eager to lead the way. Java grumbled to himself as he pushed past a particularly thorny bush.
Chasing paper clues through the wilderness. Next time, I'm asking for a direct address.
He mumbled. Just as the words left his mouth, the ground beneath his claws began to tremble faintly. Java paused, ears perking, his nostrils flaring as he caught the sharp tang of smoke in the air. A sudden roar erupted ahead, followed by the crackling of scorched wood. Java ducked behind a boulder just as a streak of red and gold thundered past, scorching the earth in its wake.
Watch it!
Java yelled, leaping out as the fiery streak skidded to a halt. Standing before him was a dragon the color of molten lava, his long eye ridges flaring upward like proud banners. Blue eyes, bright and challenging, glared down at Java. The smaller dragon immediately puffed out his chest, refusing to be intimidated.
Who do you think you are?
Java snapped.
Nyved. And you're in my way.
The red dragon replied, smoke curling from his nostrils.
Your way. This whole forest doesn't belong to you, Flame Brain.
Nyved's eyes narrowed, his tail lashing.
Careful, Shadow Lizard. I don't have time for games.
Java opened his mouth to retort but caught sight of something glinting in Nyved's claws. It was a small metal token, almost identical to the one etched into the corner of Java's map. The pieces clicked into place.
Wait!
Java said, lowering his voice.
You're chasing this clue too?
Nyved raised a suspicious brow.
What's it to you?
Java huffed, pulling his map from the satchel and holding it up.
I'm after the same thing. That token matches the one on my map.
Nyved's expression softened, slightly, as he leaned closer to inspect the parchment. His fiery aura dimmed as curiosity overtook his annoyance.
Ha! Didn't expect to run into another dragon following these.
Guess we've got more in common than you thought.
Java said with a smug grin. Nyved rolled his eyes but didn't argue.
Fine. Maybe we're after the same treasure, but I'm not sharing it.
Who said I'd share with you?
Java shot back. The tension between them hung in the air like a coiled spring until Java's stomach growled, loud and insistent. Nyved blinked, his serious expression cracking into a chuckle.
Is that why you're so cranky? Haven't had your snacks today?
Nyved teased. Java glared but couldn't hold back a grin.
Fine. Truce. For now.
They settled by a small stream to rest. Java pulled out a bundle of roasted beans he'd been carrying, the rich aroma immediately catching Nyved's attention.
Is that coffee?
Nyved asked, his voice tinged with intrigue.
Only the finest.
Java said, tossing a bean into his mouth and crunching happily.
Want some?
Nyved hesitated before taking one, popping it into his mouth. His blue eyes widened as the flavor hit him, the smoky bitterness mingling perfectly with his natural heat.
This is amazing.
Nyved admitted. Java smirked.
Told you. Coffee's the best. What about you? Got anything spicy to share?
Nyved rummaged through a small pouch tied to his tail and produced a tiny vial of crimson powder.
Dragon's breath pepper. Careful, one pinch can set your throat on fire.
Java's eyes gleamed.
Now. That. I've got to try.
The two dragons spent the next hour swapping stories and flavors, an unlikely camaraderie forming as they experimented with coffee and spice combinations. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, they were laughing like old friends.
All right. You're not so bad, Java. I guess we can team up for now.
Nyved said finally, standing and stretching his wings. Java grinned.
I was thinking the same thing, Flame Brain. Let's go find this treasure.
As they set off together, the map's next clue leading them deeper into the forest, the air around them buzzed with energy. The fiery dragon and the shadowy dragon, an unlikely duo, bound by a shared love of flavor and adventure. The forest grew denser as Java and Nyved ventured further, the canopy overhead weaving a near-impenetrable curtain of shadow and light. The air carried a faint chill, and the distant hum of insects faded into an eerie silence. Even Nyved's fiery aura dimmed, his usual swagger replaced with wary focus. Java unfurled the map, squinting at its cryptic symbols and faint markings.
The next clue says we're looking for the 3 sentinel stones beneath the twin trees. Ever seen anything like that?
Nyved frowned, scanning the darkened woods.
Not yet, but I'm guessing it won't just pop out and introduce itself.
They trudged on, Nyved occasionally blasting a small flame to clear a path or ward off the creeping shadows that seemed to watch them. Java muttered under his breath, his claws clutching the map as though it might slip away at any moment. Suddenly, a soft growl echoed through the trees. Both dragons froze. Java's ears perked, and Nyved's tail lashed with tension. The growl deepened, joined by a rustling sound that seemed to circle them.
Is that you, Flame Brain?
Java said, his voice heavy with nervous humor. Nyved shook his head.
No, Shadow Lizard. I think we're being hunted.
Before either could react, a hulking creature leapt from the shadows, a wolf-like beast, its fur dark as coal, its eyes glowing an unnatural green. Its snarling maw revealed teeth sharp enough to crack stone.
Great. Why is it always teeth?
Java muttered. The beast lunged at them, jaws snapping. Nyved acted first, releasing a plume of fire that lit up the clearing. The creature yelped, skidding to a halt but not retreating. It snarled again, circling them, its movements almost calculated.
This thing's smart. We'll need to be smarter.
Nyved growled. Java nodded, his sharp mind racing.
Keep it busy. I've got an idea.
Nyved didn't hesitate, stepping forward with a roar that shook the trees. His fiery breath forced the creature back, its glowing eyes narrowing as it studied its new opponent. Meanwhile, Java darted to the side, his smaller frame slipping through the underbrush with practiced ease. He scanned the area until he spotted a cluster of vines hanging from a gnarled tree. Grinning, he grabbed the thickest one, yanking it free. The vine came loose with a snap, nearly sending him tumbling backward.
Gotcha.
He muttered before racing back. The creature lunged again, and Nyved dodged, using his tail to whip up a burst of flame.
Anytime now, Java!
Almost there.
Java called out, darting behind the beast. He tossed one end of the vine to Nyved.
Catch!
Nyved snatched the vine with his claws, instantly understanding the plan. Together, the two dragons looped the vine around the beast's legs, dodging its snapping jaws and claws as they worked. With one final pull, they tightened the vine, sending the creature crashing to the ground. It thrashed and snarled, but the vine held firm. Nyved smirked, smoke curling from his nostrils.
Now that's teamwork.
Not bad, Flame Brain. Let's get out of here before its friends show up.
Java said, panting. They didn't wait to see how long it took for the creature to free itself. Moving quickly, they followed the map's clues, the eerie silence returning as they left the beast behind. After another hour of trekking, they stumbled upon a clearing where two ancient trees stood intertwined, their branches forming a natural archway. Beneath them were three weathered stone pillars, each carved with intricate runes that glowed faintly in the moonlight.
The Sentinel Stones.
Java whispered, his voice filled with awe. Nyved approached cautiously, tracing a claw over the runes.
They're old. Really old. I can feel the magic humming in them.
As they examined the stones, the map in Java's satchel began to glow. He pulled it out, and a new line of text appeared. Light the path to reveal the way.
Light the path? What does that mean?
Nyved's fiery gaze brightened.
I think I know.
He inhaled deeply, releasing a controlled stream of fire that swept across the stones. The runes flared to life, casting the clearing in a brilliant golden light. A low rumble shook the ground as the stones shifted, sinking into the earth. In their place, a staircase spiraled downward, vanishing into darkness. Java and Nyved exchanged a glance, the thrill of discovery mirrored in their eyes.
Let's see what's waiting for us down there.
Nyved said with a grin. Without hesitation, they descended into the unknown, their hearts pounding with anticipation. Whatever lay ahead, they knew one thing: this was only the beginning of their journey together. As Java and Nyved descended the spiral staircase, the air grew damp and heavy with the scent of earth and age. Their claws clicked softly against the stone steps until they emerged into a cavern bathed in the soft glow of bioluminescent mushrooms. At the center of the cavern, an intricately carved pedestal stood, a crystal resting on top of it, glowing faintly and pulsing in rhythm with Java's map.
This has to be it!
Java said, his eyes fixed on the crystal. He stepped forward, but Nyved grabbed his tail.
Wait. There could be traps.
You think?
Nyved pointed to the scorch marks on the walls and floor.
I've got a feeling.
Java glanced at the pedestal, then back at Nyved.
Okay, fine. We'll proceed with caution.
He leaned forward to study the crystal, its faint glow matching the markings on his map. That's when Nyved sneezed. A massive burst of flame shot from the red dragon's nostrils, singeing a nearby mushroom. The fungi shriveled instantly, releasing a cloud of spores into the air. The cavern rumbled ominously as hidden mechanisms whirred to life.
You sneezed?
Java shouted, grabbing the crystal just as the ground began to shift beneath them.
It's dusty down here.
Nyved yelled, his wings flaring out in panic as the ceiling began to crack, large chunks of stone falling toward them. The floor tilted as the room seemed to collapse, sending the two dragons sliding toward a bubbling underground river steaming ominously.
Not good!
Java gasped, clutching the glowing crystal tightly as Nyved snatched him by the scruff of the neck with a powerful claw.
Hold on!
Nyved bellowed, his wings beating furiously as he lifted them both off the ground. The two dragons soared up the staircase just as the cavern gave way, a deafening crash echoing behind them. They tumbled out of the entrance and onto the ground in a heap, gasping for breath. Java held the crystal in one hand, the map in the other, both glowing with the same mysterious light.
Well, at least we got the next clue.
Nyved wheezed, smoke curling from his nostrils.
And survived. That was way too close.
Java grinned, standing and brushing himself off.
Next time, no sneezing on the job.
No promises.
Nyved shot back, his eyes gleaming with mischief. They both turned toward the dark forest ahead, the next part of their journey waiting. After the chaotic escape from the underground cavern, the two dragons stumbled their way through the forest, their adrenaline slowly fading into exhaustion. The night was settling in, and the cold air began to bite at their scales. Java tucked the crystal into his pouch, the faint glow from the map still illuminating his path as they walked.
We need to rest. I can barely keep my wings open.
Java said, rubbing his tired eyes. Nyved grumbled in agreement, his fiery breath faltering as his usual energy began to drain.
Yeah, we'll need to recharge for whatever nonsense is coming next.
They kept walking until they came upon a small clearing surrounded by trees. The soft hum of the forest around them was calming, and the ground was relatively flat. A perfect spot to set up camp.
I'll get the fire going.
Nyved said, his wings unfurling as he stepped forward, ready to unleash his fiery breath.
Let's try not to burn the entire forest down this time. Just build something small, okay?
Java said quickly. Nyved shot him a look, his golden eyes narrowing.
You're no fun, you know that?
Java grinned.
I'm just trying to keep us out of trouble, Flame Brain.
Nyved snorted but agreed, adjusting his approach. He focused his fire on a small stack of dry twigs and branches, carefully kindling the flames into a controlled fire. The flickering warmth spread through the clearing, the light dancing across their tired faces. As Nyved settled down beside the fire, Java unfolded his wings to stretch out. He looked up at the sky, the stars twinkling between the trees.
You ever think about just stopping? I mean, we could just go back to a village, have a nice warm meal, and forget about all this.
Nyved chuckled, his voice low and rumbling.
Nah, that's not for me. I like the adventure, even when it's a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, I guess we've got a good thing going. Though, I could really go for a hot drink right now.
Nyved raised an eyebrow.
What, like tea?
Java shook his head.
No, something with a little more kick. Maybe cider. Something warm that'll settle my stomach after all that running.
Nyved grinned.
Now you're talking. I've got a pouch of spices back in my satchel. Maybe I can add a little something extra to it. Spicy cider, my kind of drink.
Now that sounds like a plan. You know, maybe this whole teaming up thing isn't so bad.
Java's eyes lit up at the idea. Nyved's grin widened as he rummaged through his satchel.
I knew you'd come around eventually.
As the fire crackled between them, Java and Nyved began to relax, sharing stories of their past adventures and laughing at the absurdity of their current situation. The world outside the small circle of warmth seemed distant for the moment, and the bond between them grew just a little stronger. The spiced cider Nyved provided added to the warmth of the growing friendship. The crackling flames offered a welcome relief after the chaos of the day. The deep shadows of the forest stretched long across the clearing, but here, by the fire, the world felt safe, even comforting. Nyved leaned back, his tail curling around his paws, and sighed contentedly.
So, now that we're not about to be crushed by falling rocks or drowned in some underground river.
Java began, glancing sideways at his fiery companion.
Want to share a story or two?
Nyved raised an eyebrow, flicking his tail.
A story, huh?
He seemed to consider the idea for a moment, then grinned mischievously.
All right, fine. You want stories? I'll tell you one of my favorites.
The two little dragons shared their stories, both laughing at it all. Their new bond cemented in the flickering firelight. With their stories shared and the warmth of the fire still crackling softly around them, the two dragons settled into a peaceful rest, knowing that, together, they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. The fire is low, the mugs are empty, and tonight's tale has come to an end. But the journey is far from over. Thank you for gathering with us at Dungeon Brew Coffee Tavern, where adventure brews with every sip. Join us next time as new challenges arise, mysteries deepen, and the magic of the tavern unfolds. If you enjoyed this taste of adventure, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. We'll save a seat for you at the tavern. See you soon.